Good morning. Welcome to lesson 4 of V2 e-Shikshana program. So in the previous session, we have come across concept of turbine, especially hydraulic turbine, classification of hydraulic turbine, and majorly we discussed about impulse water turbine and reaction water turbine. And then we had discussed about working principle of Pelton wheel, so which comes under the category of impulse type water turbine. So in this particular lesson 4, we'll be discussing about working principle of Francis turbine and Kaplan turbine, and then we'll try to compare impulse water turbine with reaction water turbine. So in the case of Pelton wheel, which comes under the category of impulsive type turbine, so it will be used for eye head application. So for example, if a head is more than 200 meter or 300 meter, so in such an application we can go with a Pelton wheel. But we got a medium power plant, so where the head will be less. So in such a case, we need to find a suitable turbine for a generation of electricity. So Francis turbine, so which is a mixed flow turbine, so fits into this particular application. So in the case of Francis turbine, the major driving force is both impulsive action as well as the reaction force developed by the movement of a water. So the Francis turbine is not a pure reaction turbine. So the kinetic energy of water, the impulsive force generated by the flow of water, as well as reaction pressure or reaction force developed, so that makes this turbine to rotate at the required speed. So that's why the Francis turbine is also called as a mixed flow turbine, where the water enters in radial direction and then leaves out in axial direction. So hence it is a mixed flow turbine. So coming to this Francis turbine, which is used for medium head and then medium flow rate applications. So it is used for a generation of electricity in medium as well as a large power plant. So as you can see in this particular image, the Francis turbine mainly consists of the runner blade, guide vanes, stay vanes, and then this spiral casing as well as a draft tube. So we know that in the case of impulse type turbine, the pressure, it remains same. The pressure of the water, even after flowing over the runner blade, it remains atmospheric. So we don't experience any problem in the case of impulse type turbine. But in the case of Francis or in the case of reaction type turbine, so the pressure at the exit of this runner blade, it will be less than the inlet of the runner blade. So this may lead to a cavitation problem. This is going to lead to a cavitation problem. In order to prevent that cavitation problem, we do make use of another element, that is a draft tube. So as you can see in the sketch, the draft tube, its cross section decreases. Its cross section decreases towards the center of the runner. So in turn, so the area of this draft tube increases as we move outward. So here one end of the draft tube is connected to a center of the runner and other end of the draft tube, so it will be submerged in the tail race. So water after flowing over a runner blade, so it comes out of a turbine and it will be made to enter into tail race through a draft tube. So in reaction type turbine, the draft tube will be used. So the main reason behind using draft tube is to reduce the cavitation problem. So along with that, so by making use of a suitable material for a runner blade, especially stainless steel, so you can prevent the cavitation problem. So this is the main use of a draft tube. So coming to this, a spiral casing which covers up the runner as well as a runner blade. So this spiral casing, as you can see from the inlet, the area gradually decreases towards this part. Okay, so when the water enters from a source, so it passes through this spiral casing. Once it starts moving through this spiral casing, due to a decrease in its area, so the pressure of the water, it decreases, thereby leading to increase in the velocity of water. So here a part of pressure energy will get converted into a kinetic energy once the water moves through a spiral casing. So this is the main use of a spiral casing. So and then we have this runner fitted with a runner blade. So the shape of the runner blade is quite different from that of a runner blade used in a Pelton wheel. So here the runner blade has got a aerofoil shape. That means so once the water glides over this runner blade, so it creates a pressure difference. So one part of the region, so one part of this runner blade experiences high pressure and other part experiences low pressure. So because of this pressure difference, so there will be a lift force which makes the turbine, which makes this turbine blade to rotate. So this is how the energy of the water can be utilized to produce a lift force. So here, just because of this aerofoil shape of this runner blade, water which glides over this runner blade creates creates a differential pressure. So one region experiences high pressure, this lower surface of this blade experiences high pressure, and an upper region experiences low pressure. So because of this difference in pressure at two regions, so it will produces a lift force. So this will make the turbine blade to rotate at the required speed. So if you mount number of turbine blades along this runner wheel, so the runner wheel can be rotated at the required speed. So we know that there is a shaft which runs from this turbine to the generator. That means the runner wheel will be connected to a generator via a shaft. So once this turbine wheel rotates, runner wheel rotates, so it rotates the shaft, so in turn rotates the shaft which is coupled to a generator, and then the electricity can be generated with the rotation of this turbine blade. So here depending on the power requirements or depending on the load, the amount of water entering into this turbine has to be regulated. So here we have got a guide blade and then stay vanes. I think stay vanes is not shown in the sketch. So stay vanes and then guide vanes, guide blade and stay vanes. So it performs majorly two functions. So in the case of stay vanes, so it is a stationary, so we cannot tilt the stay vanes to the required angle. So what does it does, since water enters through the penstock and into a spiral casing, so the water has to be distributed uniformly onto the runner blade. That is one function. Another function, since water flows at velocity and then pressure, so it has got a swirl. So that swirl has to be reduced in order to increase the efficiency of the turbine. So here the stay vanes which is held stationary, so which is a stationary fixed on a wheel, so it reduces the swirling action of a water, and then it will deflect the water or it will make the water to move towards the center of the runner blade. So this is a major function of using stay vanes. So here we need to notice one point. So the stay vanes angle cannot be adjusted, so it is held stationary. So the main purpose of using stay vanes, so it reduces the swirling action of the water. So next, once the water passes through a stay vanes, so it enters into a guide blades. So here we know that there will be a series of guide blades and then stationary blades and then moving blades in the case of reaction turbine. So the shape of this guide blade is designed such that it creates a nozzling effect. That means once the water flows through this guide blades, so there will be increase in its kinetic energy. That means a part of pressure energy will get lost, will get reduced, and then it will going to compensate for increase in the kinetic energy of water. So here the main reason for using guide blade is to make the water to strike or to enter into the runner blade at the optimum angle, at optimum angle of attack. So the water has to be distributed uniformly along the circumference of this runner wheel. So here, depending on the power requirement, the angle of guide blade can be adjusted. So we can make use of some mechanism to adjust the position or angle of this guide blade. So for example, there is a more power requirement, there is more load acting on the turbine. So in such a case, more flow rate should enter into a runner wheel. So in such a case, the guide blade can be adjusted such that the maximum flow rate enters into a runner blade. So if there is a low demand, so low power requirement at the output, so in such a case, so the guide blade can be adjusted, the guide blades can be adjusted such that the flow rate entering into a runner blade will be a minimum. So that means the guide blade can be adjusted, its angle can be adjusted with the help of a suitable mechanism to control the flow rate of a water. So this is about different parts of a Francis turbine. So we discussed about a spiral casing. So we noticed that there is an increase in its area. So starting from inlet towards this runner blade. So this spiral casing, one end of spiral casing, it will be connected to a pipe or a penstock. So as I mentioned, so this Francis turbine is used for a medium head and then medium flow rate application. So we can keep this Francis turbine in a pipe itself. That means so we got one penstock, a large a pipe. So and then we can mount this Francis turbine onto that a large penstock, and then we can generate electricity. So the medium for medium head application, this Francis turbine fits in. So here the entry of water, it will be in radial direction. So the water which is entering into a runner blade, as you can see here, so this is a runner blade and then runner wheel. So this arrow indicates the entry of water into the runner blade in an axis perpendicular to the shaft axis. That means normal to the axis shaft, and then it moves out or it exits out through the center of this runner in an axial direction. That means in a direction parallel to the axis of the shaft. So this is how the runner blade will look. So the shape of the runner blade, it makes which make use of both impulsive force as well as a reaction force for making this turbine to rotate at the required speed. So as you can see in this particular image, the shape of this runner blade at the end, it has got some a bucket shape. So because of this, once the water strikes and moves over this runner blade, so it creates an impulsive action on the runner blade, along with the reaction pressure sets due to difference in pressure. So both reaction force as well as impulsive force makes this turbine to rotate at the required speed. So coming to a working principle, so this spiral casing, one end of a spiral casing, it will be connected to a large pipe or a penstock. So water under a pressure energy and then kinetic energy starts entering into a spiral casing, so where it experiences a decrease in its pressure energy and then increase in its kinetic energy. That means a part of pressure energy of a water gets converted into a kinetic energy once it moves through a spiral casing, and then it starts flowing through a stay vanes which is fixed onto a wheel, so where the stay vanes reduces the swirling action of the water, and then the guide blades controls the flow rate of a water entering into a runner wheel. So here the angle of the guide blade can be adjusted to meet the power requirements. That means the maximum flow rate can be obtained. So by completely opening up this region, that means by completely by placing this guide blade to a maximum angle position, so thereby we can control the flow rate as per the demand, So here, so once the water starts flowing through the guide blades, the water experiences increase in its kinetic energy. So along with that, so the water loses its pressure energy. So we know that in the case of impulsive type, in the case of reaction type turbine, so the pressure energy of water gradually decreases once water flows over a series of blades. So the same thing happens in the case of Francis turbine, so which is a mixed flow turbine. Along with that, it's not a pure a reaction turbine. So then water under high velocity, under high kinetic energy, starts striking up the runner blade, so thereby producing a reaction force. So as we know that once the water starts gliding over this runner blade, so it creates a reaction pressure, as well as due to the shape of this runner blade, there will be an impulsive action of water on the blade also. So due to a combination of reaction force and then impulsive force, the turbine rotates at the required speed, and the shaft of the turbine, so it will be connected to a generator so that electricity can be generated. So this is just another visualization of a Francis turbine. So as you can see, there is a spiral casing. The cross section of spiral casing decreases towards the end, and then there is a turbine wheel housing a runner blade, and then the draft tube which has got increase in its area. So here water which is entering radially into the runner, so loses its kinetic energy as well as pressure energy, and then comes out of a runner in an axial direction. As I mentioned, the main reason of using draft tube is to reduce the cavitation problem. The water coming out of this runner, so it will be at lower pressure. So the inlet of the runner higher pressure, the water will be having high pressure, and then at the exit of this runner blade, so the water experiences a low pressure. So because of which there might be a cavitation problem. So in the case of a turbine, so we need to prevent that cavitation problem. That means due to a reduction in the pressure of a water, if it becomes equal to a vapor pressure, so there might be a formation of vapor bubbles. So this vapor bubbles act on the turbine blade and act on other parts of the turbine due to its implosion. So this damages or creates a cavity on those turbine parts and then a turbine blades. It basically causes a pitting action on the turbine blades and other parts of the turbine. So this can be prevented by making use of a draft tube. So once the water having low pressure and then less kinetic energy enters into a draft tube, so there will be increase in its pressure energy. So just because of this, so we can prevent the cavitation problem of a reaction turbine. Along with that, by selecting a suitable material, especially the stainless steel for runner blade, so we can prevent the cavitation problem. Here you can notice one end of a draft tube is connected to the runner, and then other end of the draft tube will be connected into a tail race. So this arrow shows the movement of a water. So here the water which is coming from the inlet and then it starts moving into the runner blade through stay vanes and guide vanes. So now we'll see one video related to Francis turbine.
Francis turbines are the most preferred hydraulic turbines. It contributes about 60% of the global hydropower capacity, mainly because it can work efficiently under a wide range of operating conditions. Most important part of Francis turbine is its runner. It is fitted with a collection of complex-shaped blades. In runner, water is entered radially and leaves axially. During the course of flow, water glides over runner blades. Francis turbine blades are specially shaped. You can note that blades are having thin airfoil cross-section. So when water flows over it, a low pressure will be produced on one side and high pressure on the other side. This will result in a lift force. You can also note one more peculiar thing about the blade. It is having a bucket kind of shape towards the outlet. So water will hit and produce an impulse force before leaving the runner. Both impulse force and lift force will make the runner rotate. So Francis turbine is not a pure reaction turbine. A portion of force comes from impulse action also. Thus, as water flows over runner blades, both its kinetic and pressure energy will come down. Since flow is entering radially and leaves axially, they are also called mixed flow turbine. Runner is connected to generator via a shaft for electricity production. This arrangement is fitted inside a spiral casing. Flow is entered via an inlet nozzle. Flow rate of water will get reduced along length of casing since water is drawn into the runner. But decreasing area of spiral casing will make sure that flow is entered to runner region almost at uniform velocity. Stay vanes and guide vanes are fitted at entrance of runner. The basic purpose of them is to convert one part of pressure energy to kinetic energy. Flow which is coming from the casing meets stay vanes, they are fixed. Stay vanes steers the flow towards the runner section. Thus it reduces swirl of inlet flow.
So here we need to notice that in reaction turbines we don't use nozzles. So the blade itself performs the function of a nozzle.
Demand for power may vary over time. The guide vane mechanism is used to control water flow rate and make sure that power production is synchronized with power demand. Apart from controlling flow rate, guide vanes also control flow angle to inlet portion of runner blade. Thus, guide vanes make sure that inlet flow angle is at optimum angle of attack for maximum power extraction from fluid. Low pressure at exit side of turbine may cause serious problems of cavitation. So a carefully designed draft tube is fitted at exit side to discharge the fluid out. Draft tube will transform velocity head to static head due to its increasing area and will reduce effect of cavitation. Hope you had a nice session on working of Francis turbines. Thank you.
Yeah, this is about a Francis turbine. So Francis turbine is a mixed flow turbine. So it rotates because of impulsive action of water as well as reaction force developed due to flow of water over a runner blade. So as I mentioned, this Francis turbine is used for a medium head and then medium flow rate application. So it is the most efficient turbine for a generation of electricity. So next we'll discuss one more reaction turbine, that is a Kaplan turbine. So Kaplan turbine comes under a category of axial flow turbine. So here the water enters into the runner blade in axial direction. That means parallel to the axis of the shaft. So the Kaplan turbine is specifically used for such an application where the flow rate is maximum but head available is minimum. So the Kaplan turbine is best suited for such an application, right? So that low head and then high flow rate. So the components of this Kaplan turbine, it's same as that of a Francis turbine, except the runner blade. So in the case of Francis turbine, the runner blade angle cannot be adjusted. So it is fitted on, it is mounted on a turbine wheel, so it rotates under the action of a water. That's it. So in the case of a Kaplan turbine, even the vanes or runner blades can be adjusted to the required angle just to extract the maximum benefit out of it. That means to have the highest efficiency or maximum efficiency. So depending on the flow rate, so this runner blade angle can be adjusted with the help of a suitable mechanism. So that's the only difference between the Kaplan turbine and a Francis turbine. Along with that, here we'll make use of L-shaped draft tube. So in Kaplan turbine, so we make use of L-shaped draft tube just to discharge low pressure water into a tail race, so without causing a cavitation or to prevent a cavitation of a turbine blade. So coming to a different components of Kaplan turbine. So the Kaplan turbine consists of this casing, so which is a spiral casing. So as we discussed in the case of Francis turbine, even in Kaplan turbine also the spiral casing has got a decreased cross-sectional area. So as a result of this, water entering from a penstock or water entering or water entering into this spiral casing, so it will be distributed uniformly along this runner blade at a uniform velocity. Along with that, so we can see a guide blade here. So the guide blades which are mounted on a guide wheel. So using the guide blade, so we can adjust the flow rate depending on the demand on the turbine. So if the demand is low, so we have to reduce the flow rate. So then we'll make the guide blade to adjust its angle. So if flow rate is more, so then if a demand is more, so then we need to have a maximum flow rate. So then we'll make this guide blade to allow more flow of water into a center of this runner blade. So coming to working of this Kaplan turbine, as I mentioned, it's an axial flow turbine. So where water enters into a runner blade in an axial direction. But here we can notice that so water which is entering into spiral casing and moving through or flowing through a guide blade takes 90-degree turn, and then flows in axial direction along a runner blade. So since the shape of this runner blade has got aerofoil shape, so because of this there will be a generation of a lift force due to a reaction pressure. So this reaction pressure is developed because of the flow of water. So here we need to notice, so water which is flowing through a guide blade and then runner blade, so it experiences a decrease in its pressure and then increase in its kinetic energy. So here, even in the case of Kaplan turbine also, the pressure energy gradually reduces once the water flows over the guide blade as well as the runner blade. So here guide blade creates a nozzling effect. So water which is flowing through the guide blade experiences increase in its kinetic energy. That means a part of pressure energy of water gets converted into a kinetic energy. So once the water flows over this aerofoil shaped blades, so it creates a pressure difference. So due to this pressure difference, there will be a reaction force developed. So this reaction force causes the turbine blades or this Kaplan blades to rotate. Here you can notice there is a shaft which will be connected to a generator. So this one end of a shaft has got a larger area or a larger diameter, which is called as hub or boss. So the runner blades or runner vanes are mounted on this hub or boss. So just another visualization of Kaplan turbine, where you can see this Kaplan turbine is mounted in vertical direction. So you can see a turbine blade, so which induces aerofoil effect, and water entering from a spiral casing can move in axial direction. And you can notice the wicket gate just to control the flow rate of water entering into runner, and then a shaft connecting with a generator to generate an electricity. So now we'll just see one video regarding working of this Kaplan turbine to understand the concept better.
Kaplan turbines are suitable for power extraction when water energy is available at low head and high flow rate, which means they are suitable for operation when water is stored in a big reservoir at a relatively shallow altitude.
So that means using this Kaplan turbine, the electricity can be generated in a flowing water itself. So we know that. So in a flowing water, the head available will be less. So we can keep this Kaplan turbine in a river and then we can generate electricity.
In Kaplan turbine, flow is entered through a spiral casing. Decreasing area of casing makes sure that flow is entered to the central portion, almost at uniform velocity, throughout the perimeter. Water after crossing the guide vanes passes over the runner.
So you can notice that once the water flows through a guide blades, it takes 90-degree turn. So you can see that the water glides over the runner blades in an axial direction.
Finally, it leaves through a draft tube. Most important part of Kaplan turbine is its runner.
So as you can see in this particular visualization, a number of vanes, number of runner blades are attached or mounted on this shaft. So this is the lower end of shaft which has got a larger area. It is called as hub or boss.
Cross section of runner blade will have a curved shape. When water flows over it, it will induce a lift force due to airfoil effect. Tangential component of lift force will make the runner rotate. This rotation is transferred to a generator for electricity production. Kaplan turbines are axial flow machines, where absolute velocity of flow is parallel to axis of turbine. Water is precisely made to pass through runner blades, with help of a shroud. Power demand may fluctuate over time. A governing mechanism, which controls position of guide vanes, is used to control water flow rate.
As you can see in this particular visualization,
Is used to control water flow.
so now it completely closes up the entry of water. That means it allows only minimum flow rate into a runner blade depending on the
Flow rate. This can meet for varying power demand. Blades of Kaplan turbine are designed to operate under a wide range of operating conditions. A rotating blade experiences relative velocity of flow. The fundamental thing in blade design is relative velocity of fluid flow should be at optimum angle of attack at all cross sections. Even though absolute velocity is axial, relative velocity will be inclined depending upon relative velocity of flow will be more axial in direction.
So you can notice that even the runner blades can be adjusted to have optimum angle of attack. So just to have a maximum turbine efficiency.
In short, pitching action of blade makes sure that blade is still in optimum angle of attack, even under varying flow. If guide vanes were not present, the flow would be highly swirling in nature due to its tangential entry. Such a flow would reduce performance of turbine drastically due to its poor angle of attack. So guide vanes control swirl of flow for optimum angle of attack. Biggest challenge in design of Kaplan turbine is how to overcome problem of cavitation, which causes material erosion and vibration. Cavitation is unavoidable in Kaplan turbine, since in most of the regions, pressure goes very low. But damage due to cavitation can be reduced by using suitable blade material, and use of anti-cavitation fin. Draft tube, which transforms dynamic pressure to static pressure, due to its increasing area, also helps in reducing cavitation effect. Thank you.
Yeah, this is about working of Kaplan turbine. So in this session, we have discussed about working principle of Francis turbine and working principle of Kaplan turbine. So now we'll try to discuss the difference between impulse turbine and reaction type water turbine. So as we discussed in the previous session, in the case of impulse turbine, the energy of water, it will be completely converted into kinetic energy in the nozzle before water it is passed on to a runner blade, right? So in the case of impulse turbine, we do make use of a nozzle which reduces the pressure energy of a water and increases the velocity of a water. So that's how the turbine blades get driven by the high velocity jet of water in the case of impulse turbine. So in the case of a reaction turbine, so the water which possesses a kinetic energy as well as a pressure energy, so a part of pressure energy will get converted into a kinetic energy. So here, so the pressure energy gradually decreases once the water flows over a series of a fixed blade and then moving blade. So nozzle is absent in the case of reaction turbine, but that nozzling effect is induced by the shape of the fixed blade. So and then the water which comes out of a nozzle, it directly strikes up on the runner blade. But here, in the case of a reaction turbine, so water will be made to pass through a fixed blade. So we do make use of a guide vanes here. So the water passes through a guide vanes first and then strikes up the runner blade later. So and then the next difference, the pressure of a water which comes from flowing from water flowing, so it remains constant. As we discussed in the case of impulse type turbine, so water once it passes over a runner blade, the pressure it remains atmospheric. But in the case of reaction turbine, the water gradually decreases, and at the outlet of the turbine or at outlet of a runner, so the pressure of water becomes lower than the atmospheric pressure. So that's why we use a draft tube to prevent the cavitation in the case of a reaction turbine. So as you can see in this particular point, the pressure of a water reduces continuously once water flows over a series of blade. So next, turbine can be installed above the tail race because the impulse type turbine doesn't experience that cavitation because of that a difference in pressure, because the pressure remains atmospheric in the case of impulse turbine. But in reaction turbine, the turbine has to be submerged in a water below the tail race. So the casing is used to prevent the splashing of a water. So and then in the case of impulse turbine, whatever the turbine power developed, it's only because of impulsive action of incoming water. That means due to kinetic energy of a water, the power will be developed. So in the case of reaction turbine, so the power will be developed with a combination of pressure energy as well as a kinetic energy. That means a combination of impulsive force and then a reaction force. So if a power is developed because of only a reaction pressure or only because of reaction force, it is called as pure reaction turbine. So if there is a combination of impulsive force and reaction force which causes a rotation of a turbine blade, so it's an impulse reaction turbine. So in the case of impulse turbine, so it requires I head. So that means it requires more pressure energy. So in the case of reaction turbine, so the reaction turbine can be used in medium head as well as low head applications, but it needs more flow rate. So this is about a discussion on the turbines in these sessions. So in last two sessions, we had discussed the concepts of turbine. So in this particular session, we had discussed about working of Francis turbine, different components of Francis turbine, and then components as well as construction as well as working of a Kaplan turbine, and then we compared impulse water turbine with a reaction water turbine. So this completes lesson 4. So in the coming sessions, we'll be taking up hydraulic pump concept for a discussion.